In relation to the steps to the two-state, I've argued or put to the Foreign Office over the past few months a sense, which I'm sure is shared by everybody, there needs to be a series of parallel conversations going on. First and foremost, you've got to end the conflict. As Samir and Gershon have said, you end the conflict, you return the hostages. Secondly, you've got to consider what will happen to Gaza the day after. Everybody we've spoken to in the region says, in order to deal with the day after in Gaza, you've got to have a horizon which is longer term, because that's the way to get the agreements you need on Gaza. Thirdly, you have the discussion about the longer term future of Gaza, not just the immediate authority, but the longer term. And that has to be, fourthly, as part of the overall settlement, which will involve West Bank, East Jerusalem, as well as Gaza. These can't be sequential because we don't have the time. They've got to be parallel. The talks on all these things need to be going on now because they're all equally important. But of course, the most immediate is the conflict. But that's why the conversations need to be taking place at the same time. The international community clearly has a role. The friends in the region are vital, as both Gershon and Samir have made clear. There is a role for Western states who should be involved. I think the United Kingdom has a serious convening role to play and should be doing so. I think it needs a lot of envoys, a lot of people working on it at the same time with a common purpose. But those are the steps. And as part of that, the overall settlement, the overall resolution, which may be a two-state or something different, that clearly has to be part of it. But it can no longer be a veto to dealing with the other conversations. The last point I would make is don't neglect civil society either. Civil society should play a large part in this. We were the first government to recognise something called the International Fund for Israeli-Palestinian Peace in 2018. That's got a lot of support, and there are groups. Remember, 20% of the population of Israel are Arab Israelis. And one of the things that hasn't happened post-October the 7th has been the intercommunal violence that we saw in 2021. There are those living together in those communities, self-policing at the moment to make sure there's no trouble. So I hear from people in the area. And when people are trying to make out nobody can live with each other anymore, that's blatantly not true for those who are living together. So that field, civil society, the work of ULMET, the Alliance for Middle East Peace, and those who work in that sort of area, there is something called the Arab Initiative. It's not the Arab Accords, it's the Abraham Accords, it's the Abraham Initiative, people working together. Civil society should play a part in this, and that needs to be parallel with the political negotiations. But those opportunities are there, and this time we mustn't miss them.